This is Girl Without a Past, a terror-strong mystery. Book 6, written by Rylie Dark, read by Jack. Chapter 1. It was a curious kind of snowman, out here all the way in the middle of nowhere at the foot of the mountain, and such a strange expression that had been put on its face. A large, gaping hole for a mouth, round and dark, almost as if the snowman was caught in a perpetual scream. A scrap of colorful fabric had caught Antonia's eye almost immediately as she walked, her viewpoint clearing a few tall pines and allowing her to see beyond. It gave her a start, making her think that she wasn't alone out here after all, but it only took a second for her rapidly beating heart to cool on realizing she was only seeing a snowman. She tapped her hiking stick against the ground, hearing the satisfying crunch as it broke down the underlying snow. On a day like today, with no one around and the whole world blanketed in deep white, it felt like she was the only person left alive. Far from being a terrifying sentiment, it comforted her, a world where she didn't have to worry about anyone else, where appearances no longer mattered at all. A lifetime of peace and solitude, quite the opposite from the busy office where she worked on weekdays. They may have controlled her life from Monday to Friday, but as soon as Saturday morning hit, Antonia's time was her own, and she'd been waiting to come out here as soon as the first snow had fallen. She took a deep breath of the ice-cold air, inhaling the sweet freshness that could only come right after a snowfall. She had started out this morning on the hike that would take her to the top of the mountain, the smallest of the range, but all the same, a nice vantage point from which to admire the world of white. But now, there was this curious snowman, and she felt like she couldn't simply walk by without looking a little closer. Why was it screaming like that? Antonia glanced around. There was no one close by in her periphery, and the light flakes that had fallen overnight had settled on top of the colorful scarf wrapped around the snowman's neck. She could see almost indentations in the snow around it that might have been the footprints of whoever made it, but they had been mostly filled in already. Antonia took one last glance around and then forged towards it, tapping her hiking step ahead of her with each movement to ensure the snow was firm enough to hold her. The scarf was patterned yellow, pink, and red. Quite a summery color palette, which was strange in itself, and Antonia was sure it was a woman's scarf. Maybe then it wasn't a snowman, but a snow woman, though there was nothing to indicate that other than the one scrap of clothing. The eyes, once she got close enough to check them out properly, were just two dark stones pushed into the round ball of the head. Antonia glanced around and saw an area of shallower snowfall at the foot of a nearby tree.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?